I'm Amanda Jane Parish, Eco Lifestyle Coach and founder of Finding Eco, and I'm here today with Allan Savory. Hi, nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about Allan growing up, especially through my father. He's been a great influence, and so it's a real privilege to meet you today. I would just like to ask you how important is holistic management, and why is it important we engage younger people?
Well, we're running into so many problems which are culminating in climate change, but deserts advancing, droughts increasing, floods increasing, poverty, violence, abuse of women and children, and all of this can basically be traced back to environmental malfunction, etc. And we will never get out of that by continuing with reductionist management. So management needs to be holistic, embrace all of our current science, traditional and other sources of knowledge. And nobody could dispute that. These days I don't believe the common sense of shifting to managing holistically. So that means on our farms, in our forests, that we're managing the oceans, everything, starting to manage holistically. And ultimately government policies, laws and regulations empowering people to do that and not hindering them, as is happening in every country, including Australia today. So it's just logical common sense, and through no great wisdom but perseverance with the problem, and I've been working on it for 58 years now, I'm horrified to say, we've discovered a very simple way that you can actually do that, whether it's at government policy level or on the farm. And it's vitally important for the future of humanity and to sustaining our cities. We are not going to be able to sustain cities except by changing agricultural practices and starting to produce more food than eroding soil and environmental damage as we're doing today. I don't know how to put it more simply. It is vital for human survival and the survival of every business in the cities and so on.
Now, I've seen how much it changed the farm that I grew up on when Dad started managing it holistically. It was just amazing, the transformation. How do you think in the future people will use your ideas to influence change?
Well, what we're doing at our institute is we've recognised that in this problem that's culminating, as I say, in climate change, it's many things that are reflected there, that we need leadership, but it can never come from any politician, any university, any organisation. The leadership can only come from ordinary people. So now we are engaged in a strategy of getting learning hubs, at least 100 of them initially, around the world, where people can collaborate and work together. Universities, farmers, ranchers, pastoralists, government agencies, all learning to manage holistically together, because we've got to mimic nature in the end. And in nature there is no competition. Plants don't compete, there's just great synergy. And climate change is much more serious than mainstream or people realize. You've still got companies deliberately confusing people, just like the cigarette companies did, which should be treasonous behavior, but it isn't regarded as that. So you've got a very confused public at the moment, understandably, not understanding how terribly serious the problem is of climate change. Like the frog, proverbial frog in the pot of water brought to boil slowly, that frog cannot adapt to that boiling water. And right now, in our societies and so on, we are telling our great-grandchildren to adapt to boiling water. That's nonsense. We have got to address climate change. We can't mitigate it and adapt to it. So it is a very serious situation to address.
If in a perfect world, how would you see our future going if we start making changes?
Well, I think we've expressed it in that our main aim and reason for existence of our institute is for ordinary people to start taking that lead, but to get just interfered with the interview.
Oh, sorry.
I've said we've set up this institute to work globally with people, getting collaboration, etc. But the whole aim of that is to get the holistic framework through which we do this, which is profoundly simple, into international consciousness to avert tragedy beyond imagination. I mean, if you really look at climate change, it doesn't just mean rising oceans, and that might concern some cities close to the ocean. If the ocean rises that much, that'll be about the least of our troubles. There'll be so much violent weather and so many other concerns. So now that we know how to manage holistically, which we never knew how to do until 1984, we've got to get that into international consciousness, and the only way we can do that, thankfully, is through social networking, because you have to get around authorities and experts that have got control of information, and that's where the TED Talk has helped enormously. In 20 minutes there, we achieved more than we did in the last 30 years, because it got out to over 2 million people and still increasing. So now the public know there is hope, there is a way forward, and that wasn't public knowledge because we had expert authorities blocking the information from getting out.
That TED Talk was really amazing, and I found it really inspiring as well. What advice would you give young people to start making change in their life, especially in the cities?
You can't be an island to yourself. Okay, no country can today. So my advice for young people is get involved. And to do that, they're going to have to be vocal, they're going to have to speak up, they're going to have to use social networking, because I've had an example while I've been in this country. You've got a radio program, Triple J,
yes,
which gets out to young people. They had arranged to interview me, and then I actually saw the email. They cancelled it because research or authorities or something, research indicated that what I'm saying doesn't work. That is absolute nonsense, 1000% wrong. Managing holistically is based on all of available science and so on. So somebody there vetoed and banned young people realizing that there's something of such hope. Now, young people need to talk up.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.